To U.S. Department of State, trafficking in persons and human trafficking are umbrella terms often used interchangeably to refer to a crime whereby traffickers exploit and profit at the expense of adults or children by compelling them to labor or engage in commercial sex. I researched 6 credible sources, including books and government sources, such as journal articles I found on the NPC database based on human trafficking. Now that I have your attention, I will discuss how to prevent human trafficking. After researching and reading, it is a crime to enforce adults and children into labor and commercial sex acts. Did you know there are different types of human trafficking, known as modern-day slavery? Human trafficking occurs throughout the whole world. It's considered a global issue. Traffickers can be closer than you think. According to the book Human Trafficking, there are actions of sexual trafficking victims, which is a big international problem. People are also trafficked for other exploitations such as organs, labor, marriage, and begging. Victims of human trafficking can be anyone, no matter their race, religion, gender, disability, and social status, etc. Human traffickers prey on those who are in marginalized communities or vulnerable individuals such as the homeless, runaways, children in welfare programs, and immigrants. Forced labor work against their will, but it is not easy to spot because they can be working in places we often go to. The U.S. Department of State reports human traffickers such as threats, manipulation of debt, falsification of identity documents, psychological coercion, manipulation of addictive substances, threats to other people, or other forms of coercion. There is a dilemma of pedophiles traveling and mainly engaged in sex tourism. It's forced, fraud, and coercion. Child sex trafficking individuals engage in acts according to the U.S. Department of State. The use of children is illegal in the U.S. as in many other countries. The reason is this act is still around is due to the financial benefits. It can be going on in restaurants, hotels, brothels, etc. Foreign tourists also go to different countries to engage in sex with minors. According to the book Human Trafficking, 51% of Cambodian girls lose their virginity to a tourist or foreigner, and sex tourism plays a significant role in sex trafficking. Also, Southeast Asians are brought in the U.S. as mail order brides. Sex tourism and sex trafficking are among the most significant problems that involve domestic servitude, which is considered forced labor, and still they work in private residence and often alone. The U.S. Department of State reports in transportation and even housing. Foreign workers are vulnerable due to the language barrier. Now that I explained, I encourage everyone to be aware of their surroundings and of anyone else. I will share ways to bring awareness. According to the journal article Human Trafficking Awareness, assessment and training, the signs of someone being trafficked include receiving treatment at a hospital or clinic, or being fearful, anxious, malnourished, paranoid, bruising, and physical restraint. They will be seen due to mastication and broken bones. Miscarriage and broken bones. In the article published by McGeorge Law Review in 2011, National Human Trafficking Resources Center designed a hotline, 19,000 calls that include tips of potential human trafficking. The HHS made such an impact by bringing awareness of human trafficking, such as launching anti-trafficking coalitions that have been around in 10 U.S. cities, the Free Slave Foundation, and human rights centers, bringing awareness of forced labor, and it's almost non-existent. In the journal article Human Traffickers, a call for counselors, awareness, and action, counselors have been more educated about human trafficking and the signs, such as websites. The Department of State has also launched their funding opportunities to combat human trafficking. Now that I spoke about a solution, how can we combat human trafficking? What if we didn't know if human trafficking was going on right in front of us? What happens if we keep ignoring them? Human trafficking tends to go to hospitals for treatments such as miscarriages and broken bones. Still, medical staff often do not question it or acknowledge that human trafficking is going on in front of their faces. In the journal article by Brewer-Renee, many think human trafficking is a true global issue, but they don't recognize that the problem mainly is in the U.S. Many healthcare professionals fail to recognize human trafficking. Implementing training for healthcare providers to know that the signs of human trafficking should be part of the training. According to Brian Parrish and Gillian, many human trafficking victims are brought into the emergency room by their traffickers. Many of the victims attend school and school nurses frequently see them. Unfortunately, the anti-trafficking system doesn't typically protect survivors and immigration control. Often survivors still face the arrest of immigration, prostitution, or labor violations before having the right to speak to a lawyer. We can't ignore the signs of human trafficking. We need a way to stop it, and we saw what we can learn the signs with action to stop human trafficking. The National Human Trafficking added a hotline 1-888-373-7888. There are anti-trafficking organization education campaigns spreading awareness of human trafficking in public provided by the CSOS. It is important to educate people about healthy relationships, consent, and internet safety. Also posting on social media such as Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, and Twitter.